find out what Professor Kenife has to say about this, a development economist, and joins us right here in the studio. Prof, good afternoon and welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
Good to have you. So, I mean, a lot of talks, pros and cons of this 15% import duty. What are your thoughts?
This is, as far as I'm concerned, from the genesis of this administration, this is the most consequential, most effective use of fiscal instrument to achieve multiple objectives. One is going to address the fraud and all the corruption we have in oil fuel import. I will explain. Two is going to protect local refining capacities in accordance with the PIA 2021. Three is going to protect 230 million Nigerians and the 42 million MSMEs, their interest in these products. Then it's going to encourage and really open the door for international investors. Because why do you have 30 licenses for refineries and only 3 are trying to start? They are being held back by the asymmetries and misalignments in this particular subsector. That is the fuel import and the logistics and distribution subsector. So I can break it down. One, everybody knows what the shenanigans going on in fuel import. When EFCC went to investigate, some of them admitted that they will send in 30 million liter tanker. They will remove 10 million and they record 30. They go to Levy and come back, discharge 10 million, they record 30. The third time they record 90 million liter against 30 million liter tanker. Come and do it now. Because when you discharge, you get for 15%. You discharge again, you get it. So by the time you go away, you will pay 45% duty. So that is dead on arrival. And there are many more of these that are actually, okay, one, we expect NMDPRA. The 3 things that they should have done immediately they come in is to establish the correct quantity of fuel being consumed in this country. They have not done that. And even as Dangote is rolling out 10,000 trunkers where you could put satellite tracker and geofencing, so you can actually say exactly what is consumed where you go near the border, alarm will go. They don't want to use that. And they haven't got any metrics that can actually tell us what we are consuming. So what you hear is, today is 50, 70, 80, we don't know. So it is about projected consumption. So that's number one. Number 2 is to actually have a laboratory of international standards to actually measure the parameters when the fuel comes in. Because according to the PIA, as at the right time when they decide that we need to import, all the stakeholders will come and then they will check. We haven't got it. Neither NNPC nor them have an international laboratory that meets the ASI, so they haven't. So you can't fulfill that component of the PIA. So, and other things. So we need to see what this, so that stops corruption. Then how does it protect consumers? Well, Dangote has said, we guarantee the price. Till after Christmas, they guarantee the price. So that question should not even arise. And then even if you look at the figure, 860 plus what, that 15% is almost 99, call it 100. So that's going to be about 960. Nigeria is still 0.62%, $0.6, $0.62, compared to Ghana, $1.37, compared to Cote d'Ivoire and Senegal, about $1.7. So we are far behind. We are half the Ghana and 1/3 of what they are charging in our neighboring country within the region. So we are still way down, and that is going to, and I'll tell you this, I'm not a soothsayer, but I will tell you this. If the government and NNPC keep to the crude to Naira deal, which is guaranteed by PIA, is in the PIA, domestic crude obligation. And in fact, I'm going to recommend that government take a step further, because what we have here is at the demand end, but we do need to have similar measure at the supply end, at the upstream. Because what's the point? If you have if the DCO, the domestic crude obligation, says you should supply, and then you are giving Dangote, who has 700,000 barrels a day, you are giving him only 70,000 with a promise that you will raise it to about 160,000 barrels a day. Still far short of the capacity. So if you have that, then government should impose a tax of 5% on the non-compliant, non-DCO compliance. So government will earn more money. If you don't want to do what you are supposed to do, send that crude for local refinery, then I'm going to tax you. So
Prof,
government is going to get more
I think that's one of the fears that's being expressed, you know, by some individuals in the country, that with this 15% import duty, that means more reliance on Dangote. Now, we know that Dangote even has to import crude. That means if anything happens to Dangote's supply, the country would be in a tight corner.
It's not. First of all, it's building another refinery anyway to take it to 1.4 million liters, another line.
Yes, to increase the production.
Two is that what is it producing at the moment? Based on what he's producing, he's already producing 45 million liters a day. And what are you taking? We're only taking about 20 million liters. So he's forced to export another 25 million liters. So if our consumption is 45, sometimes they say 50, yeah, okay. We have enough to meet the local demand. So that question should not arise. But the other thing is that what really makes me unhappy is that people don't compare like to like. If you look at the big question others will ask is, are we violating bilateral, plurilateral, and multilateral trade agreements that govern this international trade? Are we violating them? The answer is no. If you look at ECOWAS, we are part of ECOWAS Union, Customs Union, and we have common external tariff, 5 bands, 0, 10, 20, 35, and 5%. We are not. We are bound by those tariffs, and if we are going to bring in a levy instrument, we are allowed to bring levy instrument to deal with issues like this, safeguard measures. So we are. So I shouldn't call it tariff. I should call it levy. Is that what it should be? It's levy, so that you can put it away. Then the second point is that you go to WTO. You have 4 clauses in WTO. One, it says safeguard measure. Their safeguard measure is to safeguard local industries against predatory pricing and all kinds of subsidies that could come. Then, because they will kill the target. We'll see what happened to our textile. Over 2 million jobs lost. You have textile graveyards in Kano, Kaduna, and Lagos. And that is because of frivolous imports that were not checked, they were not regulated. Then the other one is they have a infant industry protection. Now, people may say, okay, well, why would you call Dangote infant industry? That we have refineries? No. That is a complex, as an integrated complex of its type that is infant. So it needs protection. Every country in the world protects their infant industry. So it's not an issue. Then you also have countervailing measures. Countervailing measures is where you have to invoke those because countries do what they do. They are dumping. Okay, we have an anti-dumping. There are many of them, many clauses within the WTO. Anti-dumping is one of them. And let me explain to you. Dumping is not just dumping substandard goods, because we do know that substandard products. Because the 50 ppm is the ECOWAS standard of sulfur. Sometimes you give 150, 200, and it's killing the economy, it's killing pollution, everything. Everything that can go wrong goes wrong with that. So then you have, apart from the substandard goods, you also have predatory pricing. So both of them are targeting your domestic production capacity to decimate it. Now look, let me tell you one. In Africa, only Dangote and South Africa are producing refining now. Why? They will have more, but they have been decimated because of the same argument that we have here. And what are we importing? Over $20 billion a year is spent on import of fuel products. Nigeria is even accounting for half of that, 10 billion. In 2020, we were spending 2 trillion on import of fuel. 2021, it rose to just over 4 trillion. 2022, it went to 7.5, it came down to 7.4, now it jumped to 15 trillion in 2024. So what are we saying? What are we doing? If this must continue, government must earn money. And that's why the government must get this tax from the downstream demand side and get from the upstream. It says we have to, until people behave themselves. And let me tell you why it is important to have an upstream tax, 5%. If they refuse to comply with both the law and the directive of the president to supply to local capacity, then pay tax of 5% for that thing you want to export. That means $3.5 to $4 is going to be added to their $68. If they want to do that, go ahead and let me see who will buy your crude at $72. Do you understand what I mean? It's not fair. If you want to do that, then let's see who government gets the money. and then you
at
lose
least,
your
government
business.
revenue will increase.
Absolutely. Government
Farm
doesn't
will
need to
increase
borrow
and-
anymore.
Exactly.
Government does not need to, and you don't need to put 5% petrol tax to citizens. Just leave that alone. Get your tax from the defaulters
From the upstream.
and then use it to stop the fraud.
All right, Prof. We hope that they are listening.
Well, they have to, because this is most consequential. And this, look, our battle here is a battle of economic sovereignty, and you cannot restrain the local industries that want to put. Dangote has said to the 30 refiners, "Come along, let's build a hub, a fuel distribution hub." And the market of $20 billion is there in Africa alone. Let's talk of. It's not even Africa that is buying his fuel. It's Saudi Aramco, is America, is Brazil. So the business is there. He wants them to come in. He said, "Come along, let's build a hub."
All right, Prof. Thank you
you
so much for
My
sharing
pleasure.
that idea with us.
My pleasure.
We'll try and push that up even after now.
Thank you.